Good evening, brothers. Hope everybody's doing good on this Sunday evening. Um, because everybody's time constraint, we weren't able to kind of meet today. We kind of took a audible in a sense. I met with a few of y'all after the Friday's practice, those of y'all that were there. So right now, for this video purpose, we're going to go over the things that's going to happen tomorrow. So I'm going to try not to take too much of your time with this video, but we're going to go in place of that, okay? Now, again, once I go over this stuff, you'll see a picture of it in the comments at the bottom. I'll submit the pictures and everything else. But in the future, if we ever get to this point, we'll try to do a Zoom or whatever else. But I know people had church. I know people had different other jobs they was doing, and even up to some doctor's visits as well. So we're gonna kind of dive into this. Go ahead and get into it tomorrow. So tomorrow it's gonna be our first official Union County High School football practice under my leadership. It's going to be my first. I'm excited, truly excited for this opportunity. I'm looking forward to the things ahead in this regard. So we're going to start practice promptly at 3:45. Now, let me say this. Those of y'all that have been there for the middle school practice, they do not step on that field till it's 3:45. They do not step on that field till it's 3:45. What I'm going to do, Coach Bates is going to lead the charge as far as the time, and I'm going to get with him later about it here shortly as far as keeping everybody on time, keeping everybody on the schedule and everything of that nature. So he'll let you know if it's 5 minutes left, 10 minutes left, 3 minutes left, 30 seconds, stuff of that nature. That's what he did at the middle school. He's going to do that now. But everybody going to line up with their toes on the line. They're not getting on the field. I don't care who they are. I don't care what they're doing. They're not getting on the field till 3:45. They're going to have their toes on the line. Everybody know this. They have been there. They got their toes on the line at 3:45. At 3:44. At 3:45, we're going to blow the whistle. Everybody's going to take off. So there's going to be a group on one side of the field over there by the trees. They're going to be working different drills, special teams wise that Coach L going to already have orchestrated from the sideline over. From the sideline where the field is as far as going back out to the road. That side is going to be kick return with the eject machine. Then you're going to have punters, you're going to have kickers, then you're going to have the long snappers, the field goal snappers, the holders, all that stuff that's going to be in the middle. Okay, everybody else is going to be over there going through the special teams drills, whether it's going on down on kickoff and they returning as far as learning how to block on kickoff return and stuff of that nature. Coach L's going to head that up. In the midst of that, make sure everybody is doing something. You are not just walking around. You are not just chilling. I don't know how y'all did it last year. We're not doing it this time. So make sure you either go over there with Coach L, you help with the long snappers, you help with the kickoff and punt returners, you're going to help with somebody. We're not going to just stand around, drink water, and just wait until it's our turn. We're not doing that. If you do that, you might as well go home. And then I'll find you another placement somewhere else, but we're not going to do that. These young men need work. We're going to get them that work. We're going to do that from 3:45 to 3:55. That's pre-practice. Pre-practice is going to be 10 minutes. I know originally I said 15, but we're going to do 10 this time. All right, whistle's going to blow. Then from 3:55 to 4:10, we are sprinting to the middle of the field. We are going to work on punt team and kickoff return team, okay? Both of which are going to take 10 minutes apiece. Both of them going to take 10 minutes apiece, okay? Because there's going to be a lot of explaining. There's going to be a lot of going through everything, but it's going to take 10 minutes apiece. So we'll go from 3:55 to 4:10. After 4:10, the next thing we're doing, we are sprinting to the dynamic warm-up. That's going to take 5 minutes to go over. All right. So I'm going to send you a picture about that. Coach L already know how to do it. We're going to line up on the 35-yard line. We're going to line up on the 45-yard line. 35-yard line, 15-yard line. And then we're going to line up on the hashes facing in. The lines that are on the 35-yard line, the 15-yard line, that's the first wave. They're going to run. They're going to slap hands. They'll do Euro steps, whole enjoyable type deal. Then once they get set at their lines, the second wave is going, okay? Then they're going to come across, do the same type deal. They're going to wave, carry on. They're going to have fun, slapping hands with each other, go to the opposite lines. Then the whistle's going to get blown. Everybody's going to come to the middle. We get another break. And then we separate back to our original lines. And then Coach L going to take them through the whole warm-up. And I'm going to send you a picture of that too so that everybody knows what's going on. So the warm-up is going to consist of the first thing, okay? High knees backwards. Number 2, up and outs, knee and hips. Number 3, the reach back is going to be fast. You know, they're just reaching back with their feet. They're facing forward, leaning forward, and they're running backwards, but they're reaching back as far as can. Fourth thing is Frankenstein with a hop. Fifth thing is high knee over. Sixth thing is high knee over, coming back. Okay, so they're going down there, and they're coming back 5 yards apiece. Meant to say that earlier. So when they do the high knees backwards, it's 5 yards. They do the up and outs coming forward. That's 5 yards. When they come back, sorry, El, I'm going to call you right back. I promise I am. Then, you know, Frankenstein, all that's kind of back and forth from that point. Now, number 6, the high knee over coming back. Then you got 7, which is quick karaoke feet. Then you got 8 coming back would be quick karaoke feet coming back. Same deal, so you're going to face different directions. Number 9, you got butt kicks. You got number 10, you got flutter kicks coming back. Then we got 11 for sprint down. Now, the sprint down, when Coach L says speed ready, yep, they're going to put their hands down. Then they're going to sprint, okay, on the whistle. Then they're going to do the sprint coming back. When Coach says speed ready, everybody going to say yep, and put their hands down. They're going to sprint back to the middle. And then there's going to be a break on me. We get in the middle, we're going to get a break. After we get a break, we're going to break off to the next section. We're going to go into our water break. Okay, so our water break is going to come from 4:15 to 4:20. So the dynamic warm-up again is from 14 to 4:15. Then from 4:15 to 4:20 is going to be a water break. That's 5 minutes. After the water break, I'm going to give you a time. We're going to start getting over there to our stations. From 4:20 to 4:35, which is a 15-minute period, is going to be offensive primary. So if you got anybody that's an offensive player, they can go to the offensive individual. If you got any defensive players that does not pertain to any kind of offensive individual, any kind of offensive position, then they'll go to their defensive coaches and work on whatever they got to work on over there. If you do not have anybody for defensive coaches, then make sure you go to the offense, you help them. Helping them means you're an assistant coach to them. You're going to help them whatever they need help with. If they ask you your opinion about what a defensive player do, then you respond. If they don't ask, do not interject. The only thing you interject on is if they're not hustling or whatever else. Make sure everybody discuss and talk about what you're going to allow them to talk about. But the only thing you're doing is encouraging. We are not demeaning anybody. Now, if they just walking around being disrespectul, you ain't got to worry about it. I'll see it. And when I see it, I'll get them. I get them, I'll get y'all if y'all don't do what you're supposed to do. But I'm just letting you know that's how that'll be. So, again, from 4:20 to 4:35 is offensive individual. That's 15 minutes. Then from 4:35 to 4:40, we'll have an inside period. The inside period is going to consist of a half-line deal. So we'll have half on the left and half on the right. So we have a center guard tackle to the left. We have a center guard tackle to the right. We're going to put emphasis on the running backs to make sure they don't cut back into that, you know, to the open side with the center or whatever else. No, we're not going to do that. Press the gap, find a hole and cut. We'll have maybe 3 linemen on the other side too. I say 3 linemen, 3 defenders. It might be 2. It might just be a shade and a linebacker or a DN. You know, but we'll see how that goes. But it'll be 3. So it might be a shade. It might be a shade in the 5, or it might be a 3 in the 5. And we'll always be a backer in that situation, but it won't be an outside backer. Okay. So we'll do half line with that one. Now in the midst of us having half line, the receivers and DBs in the midst of this offensive primary, y'all gonna go separate. Y'all gonna work on 1-on-1s. Then y'all going to work on 2-on-2s, okay? It's only for 5 minutes. So when y'all go through a certain wave of 1-on-1s to get to a certain part, you need to flip it. And I can give you a time for that. When they get to like 2 minutes and 50 seconds, I'll be like, yo, y'all need to switch. 2 minutes and 30. When I say 2 minutes and 30, I probably need to switch. Then y'all go to 2-on-2s. So we'll do it like that. So just to make sure everybody get to work in on that one. So we go 1-on-1s and 2-on-2s. So when they go 2-on-2s, then defensively, it'll be like a cover 4 or a bracket situation you work on. Or really 3. So you'll have man on man. They got to stay on man regardless of what the routes are. Then you'll have bracket in the midst of that. Then you have cover 4. So the cover 4 will be with the safety in the corner. Well, imagine you ain't got an outside backer. Y'all going to read based off the routes. Okay. Then from 4:40 to 4:50, we're transitioning to scale. That's 10 minutes. It's offensive primary. So anybody that's an offensive player, whatever else, they go over there to offense, working on their offense. And then defensively, we're going to take who everybody's left and go from there. From 4:50 to 4:55, we're taking another water break for 5 minutes. Then from 4:55 to 4:10, we're going straight into defensive individuals. So anybody that's a defensive player to go to offense. Anybody that's a defensive player to go to defense. Now, if you have an offensive player who's probably not going to go over there, then they're going to stay and do offensive Indy. They're going to stay and do offensive Indy. Now, kind of leading up to that, I ain't going to skip ahead. I'll come back to that. From 5:10 to 5:15, we're going to have another inside period. We'll still do half line. Be more defensive premise, but offense still going to run their plays. Now, receivers and DBs, which y'all going to work on now because the defensive primary, you can work on 2-on-3, then 3-on-3. Okay, so 2-on-3 would be us running our cover 5 sets and Argo. Those would be 2 things we go over. It'd be the corner, nickel, and safety versus 2 receivers. Then we do 3-on-3. So it'll be the trip sets, your Rio and Leo, and then it'll still be our nickel, it'll still be our corner, it'll still be our safety. We're still going to work on those 3. So we're going to work on spacing and things of that nature. So it just, whatever route to get hit, you get hit. Okay. Now, from that point, from 5:15 to 5:25, we got Scaler for 10 minutes. Again, it's defensive primary, which means we're going to take everybody we're going to need on defense. The offense keep whatever they're going to need. Okay. Then from 5 at 5:25, that's going to end as far as that part of practice. The next stage we're going to shift into is 5:25. From 5:25 to 5:35, we're going to have a 2-minute drive period. Okay. There are going to be 5 drives. They're going to take 2 minutes. If you don't get in 2 minutes, ball dead, and we go to the next drive. We start over. But in those 10 minutes, you got 5 drives. 5 drives of 2 minutes. We're going to work on our 2-minute period. Okay. Then from 5:35 to 5:45, we got red zone period. That's 10 minutes. Okay, that'll be 10 minutes. We'll work on all our red zone plays, red zone coverages. And again, all we're doing is cover 5 and Argo. We're not going to do anything else at this point. Once everybody kind of get it, we'll kind of move on from that. Then from 5:45 until, I got it into 6 p.m., that either consists of conditioning or extra work. Maybe we'll have some competition at the end of the practice to where we'll see what'll happen. Maybe we'll have a one-on-one there as far as, we'll have a call-out session. Who you going to call out? Who you think you can route run? Who you think you can cover? Or who you think you can deep ball on? Just stuff of that nature we'll do. But if nothing else transpires, then we'll go straight to conditioning. Okay. Now, let me say this. In the midst of conditioning should be throughout practice. So when I say should be out throughout practice, like I told y'all before, should be no campfire meetings, which means we're not going to sit around and talk for 30 minutes in our thing. You're not going to do individuals for 5, and the other team, you're sitting there and talk. No. You better talk in the midst of you doing your drills, or you're really going to have me up your butt. So don't do that. Make sure we're encouraging. I was talking to Coach JD and Abrams Friday. Very passionate coaches. They didn't cuss the kids out, but you could tell that they was getting ready to. But I told them, I said, y'all got to be careful. Okay. Am I telling y'all not to get on them? No. Do not dog cuss them kids out. Don't sit there just cuss to cuss. Let's say that too. Don't do that. I know they're going to get aggravated. I know you're going to get aggravated with them. Don't just cuss to cuss. Those of y'all that was there, y'all know what I'm talking about. And I'll divulge in that next time I see everybody, just to let y'all know. But I'm not telling you to sit there and say, well, I got to change my whole style of coaching. If your way of coaching is you cussing everybody out the whole time, yeah, you need to change it. If you don't change it, then you got to find somewhere else to go. Okay. Now, let's talk about the offensive Indy. All right, so we already know off rip that EJ is going over there for offensive Indy. And as far as I know, I think that's pretty much it as far as who they getting from defense. We keeping everybody else. When you get to defensive Indy, the 2 people that we're taking is EJ and JB. We're taking them. Just see how it kind of working, and then y'all going to work with whoever else y'all got on offense. Depending on how the safeties look, might end up taking AJ too. I thought about that one with AJ. AJ might come over there as well for defensive end, but everybody else is going to be on offense. We're not going to take Ashton or Quan. We're not taking none of them. So we'll kind of go from there. And I think Mozzie and them still in baseball. If Mozzie is there, we'll have him. He'll be on defense kind of working. Other than that, I think that's pretty much it as far as for that point. Okay. Now, make sure I got this clear. Okay. So, again, I'm going to send these pictures to you as far as where we're going to practice and schedule everything up. The way we had it set this last week, for those of y'all that weren't there, we had 2 separate fields for Jonesville and Sin. Now, as far as on the top field, the field is closest to the other field, okay? I ain't say top field, bottom field, excuse me. The field that's the closest to, I think it's the shot put area, where the goal is to the very end of going up that hill. The quarterback's going to be right at that 45-yard line. The receivers are going to be on that line where everybody line up initially for their toes. Then the running back's going to be over near the trees, up underneath the bushes where they were. The O-line is going to be all the way down there up underneath the goal. That's going to be where they are. Then flipping onto the other field, the D-line is going to be over there next to the trees on the other side of the field. The linebacker is going to be close to where the field house, not field house, I guess where the storage is with the gator in there. And the DBs will be where they are on the far end like they were the last time. Okay. And guys, that's pretty much it. That all I got. Now, in the midst of that, okay, let me say it like this: the way it's built, O-line and D-line, in the midst of that whole schedule, you will have 60 minutes of Indy. So that's more than enough time to get everything going. It's more than enough time for you to understand what you're doing. So please make sure they know what they're doing. Please, you're going over plays and everything else. If y'all ain't study y'all install, you better get it studied tonight. Not go for everybody, not for O-line, D-line, but for everybody for what we're doing. So O-line, D-line, you got 60 minutes of individual. That's total, it's an hour. Then DBs and receivers, in the midst of the schedule, you got 25 minutes of individual, so use it wisely. The individual, you know, you might take off 5 to 10 minutes of that, so you roughly got 15 minutes altogether, and it might be a little bit more, but probably is more. Don't quote me on that. So potentially, yeah, I got it backwards. So potentially you got 30 minutes. Okay, you got 30 minutes. Potentially you'll have 30 minutes individual. Okay. Depends on if you got the kids over there with you or whatever else, but potentially you got 30 minutes. Then the quarterbacks and running backs, y'all will have 30 minutes. In the midst of the whole practice. So like 2 sets of 15. Same thing with the receivers and DBs. Linebackers and tight ends. Roughly, tight ends, I believe you will have 30 minutes as well as a whole. But the way you're going to work on it, so when we go offensive primary, tight ends, you're going to go with the receivers first. Then the second 15 minutes, we go defensive primary. You're going to go with the O-line, and you're going to go through some blocking schemes with them. Okay. And altogether, we'll have 20 minutes of, well, not 20, it'd be 10 minutes. 10 minutes of, well, yeah, it's 20 minutes of Skelly. 20 minutes of Skelly, 10 minutes of inside run. And the reason why it's just 10 minutes, not say I don't, you know, being overprotective, but I don't know these kids yet. I don't know if they know. I know they don't know how I want it done yet. So when they know how I want it done, then we'll go a little bit longer for the inside. But I want to make sure everybody stay up and make sure they stay on their feet. Make sure we're playing fast. Another thing, too, we're going to play fast. We're going to play hard. Make sure they are attacking. They are hitting at the point of attack, knowing what they're supposed to do technique-wise. Make sure you stay on each guy technique-wise, and coach them hard. So, I mean, that's, you know, we're going to do a lot of shell practice to where we just got our shoulder pads and helmets and shorts, but we're not going to have a lot of full gear every day. If we go full gear, that's just for conditions so they can get used to it. But it won't just be because of whatever. But I want to be able to make sure we know how to tackle and we can stay up and everything else. We might just have one day of pads, to be honest with you, full pads, and that'll be Tuesday. Tuesday will be the day we have full pads. Not this Tuesday, obviously, because we got to go through acclimation. So we'll go through acclimation this week, but once the season gets started, it'll be a midst of us just doing shells for a short period of time. I think that's it. Again, make sure everybody's there early. If you can't be there early or something happen, you need to message me now. I know things come up. I know there's a lot of things out of our control when it happens, but you need to let me know because the schedule is fit for y'all. And I was telling my wife and I was telling Coach Abrams earlier, and I'm about to tell Coach L the same thing too. So in the midst of us not meeting like that, I make up for it in practice. So this is the part of that, you know, and the reason why I say that because I've seen a lot of people go an hour and a half. They just use it as that. No, if I can get the most out of it, I'm going to get the most out of my time. So that's what we're getting ready to do. So that's the thing today. Again, I love y'all. I'm not going to hold y'all. Again, if y'all got any questions, give me a call, give me a text. Try to get into them as quickly as possible. But like I said, that's the deal for the punt team. Kickoff return from 3:55 to 4:10, and pre-practices from 3:45 to 3:55. So we're gonna get all that rolling and get going. Personnel, I'm the last say so on that. Just let y'all know, so get it out y'all head now. If I see something I want, it's gonna get put in there. Just let y'all know from that point. And I would just practice the intensity based off of what it is. So if I make a change, I make a change. If you try to vocalize to me and it's beyond what it should be, then we're gonna have an issue. Then I'll address it. So be ready to work, fellas. Let's go win the state, man. Let's go be great.